Bing boing bing. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip. Good morning, guys. This is it. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip. I almost said issues with, but this is everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip. Guys, thank you. For those that showed up for Thanksgiving yesterday, our Friendsgiving, thank you. For those that were disrespectful putting stuff in comments, that there's a reason why there's sub to that. So that was just ignorant and really stupid. Guys, let me ask you, I just want to say something here. So I heard from Justin. I wasn't able to hook up with him yesterday. But he told me he's gotten some death threats. Now, why? Why would he be getting death threats? Because he's saying something that's true? Because if he's not, then I say show the proof, not the death threats. That's ridiculous. I'm going to take those threats and I'm going to go to my department in the New York State Police, where we have started a case from the other channel, where we've started a case about cyberbullying, cyber stalking, cyber harassing. And so we're going to have some fun with that. I mean, that's ridiculous. Nobody has to agree with anybody, but I don't see where anybody should be here threatening anybody. Over what? Over who? I mean, what did he say that wasn't true? I'm asking. What, the fact that he's exposing who he thinks Patrick is and the conversations he had that he had proof to? There's a lot of stuff being thrown in here as a distraction. Some of you are going to blame this guy that doesn't owe anybody anything, has found out more information. Now, should he be speaking or not? I would think if he shouldn't be speaking, somebody would have shut him up by now. That's what I would think. And I don't mean physically. I mean, I think somebody would have reached out to him and said, hey, you don't need to be saying this, or you don't need to be saying that. Or, hey, now we're going to stop you. That's up to police, because clearly we know where to find him, right? So that's not up to anybody else. Don't take the distraction away from what's the problem here. And what the problem here with Patrick is, he needs to pay the Whittakers the money. Eric, in my opinion, needs to pay the Whittakers the money and a hell of a lot more. So Patrick just showing worse character, besides just not paying somebody, that's on Patrick. That's not on Justin. It's not on me. It's not on anybody. Patrick's character, he's responsible for. He's responsible for that. So, guys, Kathy put up a video, and it was really interesting. We've touched on it a few times. So she talks about how Eric really, should I don't want to say that she used this word. I got the impression that she was saying that he was being GROOMING, that, and with the actions, it looks like that. Now, I don't know if there's anything actual going on there. However, excuse me, you could manipulate somebody in a way that they think that they want to go with you. Like, and we know, I believe we know Eric's goal was to take Timmy with him. I've heard rumor to Eric trying to reach out behind the scenes here and finding out about things like that, not through the family. And I don't know if that's true or that's not true, but I've heard rumor to that. Is it just for video content, or is there something more nefarious going on behind the scenes? So I see what Kathy's saying, and I'm not saying that that's not true, and I shouldn't even say I see what Kathy's saying, but it is right in the sense that first of all, he treated Timmy like a child. You could see the way he dressed Timmy, and I always had that comparison that Eric treated Timmy as a child and Patrick treated Timmy as a friend. Okay, so uh, there was always an issue with that. Now, having somebody come and hug on him, even a 6-year-old kid, you have to have that personal space. That personal space makes you feel comfortable, yes? Yeah. So, to have somebody I could see, like, one of them bro hugs that the guys are doing now where they come up to him and but to sit and hug on is something that would be inappropriate. Now, Eric said that Timmy didn't want to sleep in the bedroom, and that's why he kept going in to Eric's room. Eric actually made a video about that, or he was talking about it, how he just didn't want to go into his room, and how he would tell him to go into his room and he'd wake up and he'd be in his room with him. And you know if he wasn't comfortable being in his own room, maybe you don't take him. But I can understand, to be honest with you, why Timmy wouldn't want to be in his own room. We found out that Timmy and Lorraine have been sleeping together, that they share a bed. So maybe Timmy, in a strange place, felt a little afraid. I can imagine that he might have, but they didn't have to share the bed. And if they were going to share the bed, maybe top to tail, you know what I'm saying? Where you got the feet in somebody's face or the other one, or you sleep on the floor, or you take one of the other rooms that has two beds in it and you guys share a bedroom. That would have been the appropriate thing. As soon as somebody would say, hey, if you realize, even a child, if you realize that somebody's afraid and they're not yours, you know, and they won't sleep in a room by themselves, wouldn't common sense say, okay, there's a room with two beds? I'm pretty sure there was a room with bunk beds, if I remember. I guarantee you, in 4 bedrooms, there's a room with 2 beds, right? Or, then you make up something, a fort or something. You have 2 forts in the friggin' living room, if worse comes to worse. But yeah, 2 grown men, uh, especially when you're treating one grown man as a child, it's probably not. And enough for Eric to say something to know that it didn't look good. So if he knew it didn't look good, then why? So, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, as far as what I think happened, and I don't know, I don't, this is my opinion. I think that Patrick and Timmy reunited exactly the way that Patrick said so. That Timmy came over and he had something inside of him that said, let me try. And as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of something about Patrick that I'm just going to add to it. Um, I think that Patrick uh started feeling really good about helping Timmy and helping the family, and started maybe feeling a growth inside of Patrick that he didn't feel before, and maybe started realizing, if I do good things will happen. Something that maybe he didn't feel very good about, because if life hands us, and this isn't an excuse, it's a theory, okay? So I could be wrong about my theory, but you can't crucify me over it. If life hands us a bunch of shit, some of us come thinking that that's all we deserve. That's, if anything comes as a surprise, we're just waiting for the next shoe to fall. If anything good happens, we're just waiting for the next shoe to fall. And some of us haven't just had very good luck in life, right? So if you have that attitude and then you start realizing, well, maybe I have been living my life incorrectly, and maybe this is something that I feel good about. And then it, and this is the way I feel like Patrick felt, honestly, and then I think Eric, as we know, came in to this situation, and he took advantage not only of the Whittakers but of Patrick as well. And he saw Patrick as a dumb country guy, and I'm not sure that that has changed in Eric's opinion because Patrick really hasn't done anything. Uh, he hasn't fought back against Eric yet, and not as far as we know, not as far as he's shared with us. I can only go by what we know. But also, in my opinion, because Patrick kind of feels like, well, the next shoe just fell, right? No matter if I do something good or bad, look at what happens. And now he has Betty going against him because they don't know whether to trust him or not. Look at what happened, all this shit. And I don't think Patrick was guilty there. I honestly don't think Patrick was guilty there. The only thing I think Patrick is guilty of is throwing in the towel and saying, fuck it, and keeping their money, not giving them their money. That's what I think he's guilty about in the Whittaker situation. If I'm wrong, okay. Okay, but that's what I think. And I think, he's just got this he didn't give a fuck attitude now. He could live his life like that. I can't. If I owe somebody something, I'm going to give it to him. I'm not going to find excuses or reasons that make me feel better for keeping the money. That's what I think happened there. So anyway, back to the Whittakers. We met them on a porch through a lens that Mark Leda put out there. And we became fascinated with them. We wanted to know how did they communicate with each other? How did they live like that? How did they live like that? And we got to know them and got to care for them and about them, some of us, just through the lens. And then we would become protective when people would come by and just drop off a soda for a video or meet them on a porch and just won't leave until they get to see Ray. And a lot of us felt offended by that, felt like, how could you offend them? How could you just do that? And then we come and we see, I didn't see the Timmy and Patrick stuff until after the Eric stuff started happening. So I see them and I see them taking them places. And right away, there's a few of you predicting the future in the comments, a few of you predicting that he's going to break up the family. He's going to split up the family. I remember, if you look at my videos, you'll hear me say, somebody called this. A couple of you, I think, called it. So some of you saw Eric for exactly who he was, or at least how the situation was going to end. Now, what I think was going on in that video, and I didn't watch all the video that Kathy put out because I wanted to have my own take on it. And guys, I recommend you watching the video, and then I will watch it after this. But I think what Eric was doing was making Timmy comfortable because he wants Timmy. He wants Timmy because that's his entertainment. I don't think he cares for Timmy. He certainly does not respect Timmy because Kathy's 1000% right. Timmy doesn't understand what you're putting out online, and when she was shuffling through the videos that she said she was going to go to one with Timmy sleeping with Eric, and Timmy not having, a shirt on, and how he was poking at him. Yeah, that's very weird behavior because that is a 46-year-old man. That's not a child who you shouldn't be poking at either, a strange child, bare-skinned like that. So that's what I think certainly Eric's goal was. And I don't know if he automatically, I guess he was fixated on Timmy because of the stuff Patrick was putting out. because Patrick had the friendship with Timmy, and that put the spotlight on Timmy, which made obviously Eric reach out. And he saw a gold mine with Timmy, and he was ready to take him straight out of Patrick's arms. But Patrick wasn't being inappropriate. There were some videos that we thought weren't so great. And, you know, I don't know about the truth of anything with those videos. You know, I said what I was, that it was supposed to be Patrick's sister or Patrick's sister's friend or something. I don't know. I mean, that's what I was told. Anybody can prove me wrong, or don't prove me wrong. Prove the person that told me wrong. That's what they said. However, you know, I don't know. You know, that's a whole other conversation that we've had. Some of you think that was okay. Some of you think, no, that's not okay. I don't know the relationship Timmy and Patrick have. I don't know if Timmy shared uh, desires to Patrick, or, and I'm not saying physical, I'm saying that, two guys talking, how that went. I don't know. Nobody knows if that happened, if it didn't happen. So I think it's more appropriate that than, cuddling with Timmy. Yeah, I do. But do I have to pick? No, no. Uh, Three of them don't live in the home. We know that. We tried for Thanksgiving, you know, but we could only go as fast as we could go. And I think that honestly, I don't know if a decision was already made. And it'd be ridiculous for me to tell you guys, hey, I'm sorry for wasting your time with Whittaker Thanksgiving 2025 hashtags, because it didn't take any time and it came from your heart. Didn't cost anybody anything. And it was something that we tried to do together, but we can't fight harder than the people that are involved, right? They have to fight hard too. And I wouldn't want to be Betty Whittaker right now if I had to make a decision, especially of who to trust. Like, where do you go with that now? All right, guys, that's basically all I wanted to say. I think Kathy puts out some really informative videos. Uh, the facts are there, so uh, I think the determination in how you see it is up to how you see it, right? Uh, and I don't think she wants to change that, but I'm not gonna speak for Kathy, but I am gonna say I'm gonna go check out that video, and I recommend you guys check out the video, because she doesn't seem to miss. She's like a strainer. She doesn't like miss a lot of stuff. So kudos to her on that. And yeah, guys, that's it. And happy holiday season. Happy holidays to you guys. All right. And thank you guys. And I'll see you on the next one. So yeah, don't let this be your story, guys. Be well. Thanks. Bye. Bing boing bing. Everybody has a story to tell with Toddy One Skip.